So this week we're talking about chapter 3, management and motivation. Somebody talk to me about how you define motivation. What is motivation? Don't look at the board.
It's encouragement, you know.
Yeah.
You wanna
Encouragement.
Something
Yeah,
that drives you.
it's like, okay, we're gonna have like a banner quarter this year. Okay, let's see if we can get our patient, response scores higher. Say we're currently at what, maybe 85%. Let's see if we can get to maybe 90% by the end of the quarter. And cut like a reward system, like maybe an extra afternoon off, maybe it's a little luncheon, maybe it's just, something.
Something
Yeah,
that
sure, at
drives
the end
you
of
to
the day,
try
you're
to
motivating
push
them
harder or
to-
something.
So something that drives you to
Yeah,
push you.
trying to push
A
harder.
boost,
or
okay.
something. Yeah, to boost you up, boost your morale.
All right. Any other definitions?
Probably pushing someone to prove someone wrong.
Prove someone wrong. Okay.
Well, I play a lot of baseball.
All right.
And maybe a guy coming to bat, he's having a bad day, he ain't got, maybe he done been to bat 3 times, ain't got a base hit yet. And you like, don't worry about them last 3 bats, concentrate on the next bat.
So you're saying that motivation might be kind of telling them to kind of forget about the past
Yeah, move on.
and to move forward. All right. I think that's a good
You
example.
got this, you got this. Tell them, like, basically encouraging them.
So confidence, giving them confidence. It sounds like what you're saying. Okay. All good definitions, and it's interesting because every time I do this, I always get different definitions, which is great. It's very interesting. So obviously here on the slide, the book gives us the definition from the dictionary, and it says that there's a motive, so something that causes a person to act. So if we think about all the examples that you guys have provided, I think that between, pushing someone or encouraging them or giving them confidence, those are all things that would drive someone to act. So we talked about motivation. Let's talk about engagement. What does being engaged mean?
Being
Getting
active in
involved.
something, an active
Getting
participant.
involved,
An active participant.
active participant, okay. All right, so do we understand or do we think or disagree that motivation and engagement are not the same? They're different, right?
Yeah, they're different.
Okay. But we need to make sure that we do know that they go hand in hand. They're kind of codependent, right? Can a person be engaged without being motivated?
Not wholly,
Not,
no.
no, not necessarily.
Yeah,
Something may motivate me to want to come to class or something like that.
All right, so
Be motivated to come
let's
to
go on that
class.
example. So you guys may be motivated to come to class, but are you engaged when you get here?
It's like, are you all here or are you
So,
just?
that's a good argument. You may be motivated to come to class because you know that
Attendance is part of your grade.
participation is part of your grade and you're here, but are you engaged while you're here? Or are you just kind of chilling, just let the hour pass by so you can get on to the next thing? So they can go hand in hand. We know that they're not the same thing, but somebody may be motivated but may not necessarily be engaged. Everybody clear on that?
Yep.
All right. So what do engaged employees do? Here are some of the characteristics that they display. They're more productive. What this means, they produce more. Whether that be in an industry where they are making supplies or in an industry like healthcare where they're just providing services. Maybe an engaged employee will see 10 patients, whereas an employee that's not engaged may only see 2. They're more focused on patient care and treatment. So again, those employees that are engaged will be very involved with the patient. They will be the ones that say, is everything okay? Is there something I can do to make your stay better? Do you need extra pillows? Those types of things. Whereas someone who is not engaged, they don't really care. They're just doing the bare minimum that they have to do to get through the day. Engaged employees are safer. By that they mean they're taking all the precautions that they need to make sure that there's a safe work environment, that they're meeting the top quality goals of the organization and of their department. They're loyal. These are employees that don't go anywhere. You may go into places where people have worked 15, 20, 30 years. Something's keeping them there. They must be engaged, right? They model positive behaviors of engagement. People that are engaged, you know it, you see it. You see it in their actions and their behaviors, whether it be verbal or nonverbal communication, body language, you see it, you know it. And they witness greater profitability for a provider. What that means is, if an organization has a group of employees that are engaged, more than likely that organization is going to do well. They're going to be successful, they're going to make money, they're going to have a positive reputation in the community, as opposed to the organization where everybody goes, oh, don't go to that hospital, everybody's lazy, the customer service is poor, they don't call you back, et cetera, et cetera. So these are just a few, not all, but these are just a few characteristics of employees that are engaged. So you may say, why are we spending a whole chapter talking about motivation? Well, motivation is important. Why does it matter? Well, as we kind of just talked about, if you're a manager within an organization, you want to hire employees that are engaged because it's just a better bang for your buck. It's a better employee that's going to provide the organization with more money, more profitability, better service, better patient satisfaction scores, whatever it may be. And so to get those employees to be engaged, as manager, it's going to be your job to help get them there, to help motivate them so that you can reap all of these benefits from having that employee. So in chapter 3, it talks a little bit about theories of motivation, and we'll get into some of them today, but not all of them. But the chapter discusses that there are psychologists that study motivation from different perspectives, and here are some of the different levels. They look at it from needs at different levels: extrinsic factors, intrinsic factors, and integration of needs. And so one of the theories that we're going to talk about a little bit today is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Has anybody heard of Mr. Maslow before? What do you know about it? If you don't know anything, that's fine.
Something like if there's like levels of what you need, and if something's missing, it's like none of your needs are met. Or it's not. I can't really remember. But
You should just come up here and just finish the lecture. That was pretty good. She pretty much summarized it pretty well. Basically, with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as she said, it talks about it's a structure that has different levels, and you have to meet each level. And if you skip a level, then as she said, none of the needs will be met. So the first level is physiological needs. That's at the base of the structure. So those are basic needs that we need. We have to eat. We need to be fed. We need food. We need water. Those are basic types of needs that we have. And then the next level is safety needs. We all need to be safe. We need a place to go home to, a roof over our heads. We need to be in a safe neighborhood or safe environment. So after you've met this first level, the second level is safety. The next level is belonging. Some of us may say, I don't need anybody, I don't need any friends, no new friends, all this stuff.
The ones that say they don't have any.
That might be the case. But we all want to feel like we belong at some point. Whether it be we want to feel like we belong at school, at church, at home. That's just the inherent feeling that we have, that we all want to feel like we belong to something or somebody or whatever it may be. So that's the next level. Then after that, we have esteem needs. And that deals with status and recognition. While we do want to feel like we belong, we also, to a certain extent, kind of care about our status and how people see us and how people feel about us and how people recognize us. So after that level, we have the last level. And this one is pretty important. This one is the self-actualization need. And this one is more internal, more inherent. And this is the need to achieve things and grow and develop And this level is at the very top. So you can't reach self-actualization until you've hit this esteem level. You can't jump from safety here. Does that make sense? Someone have a question?
Isn't it the other way around? 'Cause I.
We'll
Oh,
see.
Yeah, okay.
So hopefully everyone can see this. This is an example of the structure of the Maslow's hierarchy. So at the bottom, at the base, our basic needs are physiological, and then safety, then social, esteem, and then self-actualization. So after I've quickly gone through this, does this make sense? When you kind of think about your own life, your own situation, do you feel like you fall into this? Yes, no? A little bit? So why do you say a little bit?
Because you don't, I think sometimes you don't think about all the other stuff that you need.
Like which ones? Like the ones up here?
Mm-hmm.
I know I think about this one because I always need snacks. So this one is always on my mind. I'm always gonna wanna be safe. So I'm guessing you're talking about the ones a little higher up. You may not always think about them. Okay. I can take that. Anybody else? But I will say, you probably don't think about these until you've satisfied these, right? When you do think about them. No?
I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes I think about it, but not all the time I think about it.
Yeah.
I think once you achieve satisfaction in each level, you can start thinking about the one above it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're consumed with what you currently need. Like if you are hungry and your cupboards are bare, you're gonna be focusing on food. You don't care what your
Which is why this
self-esteem
one is first,
Yeah,
according to him.
correct.
Yeah. So again, this is just one of the several theories in the chapter. I picked this one because this is one that you'll hear over time, probably in other classes. This is a pretty big one. So, the chapter also discusses different types of rewards. We all like rewards, right? All right, so the first ones we're gonna talk about are extrinsic rewards. Extrinsic rewards are tangible. Everybody know what tangible means? It's something we can feel, touch, see. So these are all tangibles. Money, at the top of the list. Benefits, flexible schedules, job responsibilities, promotions, status changes, supervision, praise, good boss, strong leader, inspirational people, and nurturing organizational culture. So these are all examples of extrinsic rewards. So can anybody think of one that may not be on here that they've personally experienced in a job? Or it may not be in a job, actually. Could be outside of a job. Nobody? What about gifts?
How would you say like a company car?
Could be anything. I just want to make sure you know that this list is not the end all be all. There's
Yeah.
tons of different types of extrinsic rewards that are not on here that you may experience at some point in your life or in your job. So we also have intrinsic rewards. These are the intangibles. These are ones that are more internal, such as healthy relationships, meaningful work, feeling competent, choice and participation in decision making, and progress and growth. So these rewards are sometimes not always as easy to see, but they may be there, or these may be a little bit more difficult to obtain. So, you know, pause, and we are going to have a little exercise. see how good you guys were listening. And we are going to take volunteers to see what you guys. All right, so what are some myths that you guys have heard about motivation? Here's some of the book lists. First one says, although I'm not motivated by extrinsic rewards, others are. Is there anybody in here like that? Some people may say, well, money doesn't motivate me, or have you ever heard anybody say that? Or no, money's not everything. Wait a little while.
I know, right?
Money's not everything. Those types of things.
Some people do it because they like doing it.
Right. Some people do it because they like doing it. So this is a myth. A person may say that, but more than likely there may be something extrinsic that would motivate them, right? Maybe they just haven't discovered it yet. Another myth is all motivation is intrinsic. Well, we know that, right? Because we know that some people are motivated by money or other extrinsic things besides those things inside. What about this one? Some people just aren't motivated.
I think that's true.
That's true.
Whoa, everybody said that's true.
Some can, but some is not.
Let's take a vote, because I'm interested to see. So, how many agree with this?
I do.
Or maybe it's
So majority of you guys agree with this. So we're gonna talk about this for a little while then. Tell me why
They
you,
teach you in boot camp.
I mean, I can
basic
give you-
training when you go.
Yeah.
False,
Okay.
if you're not motivated, fake it, because false
Yeah.
motivation eventually leads to the real thing. And so,
So I
Okay.
mean, I can say, I'll give you this reward or this reward, and you be like, and
oh,
so
you mean recruiter
it'll
crap.
still be- yeah, yeah. Like a recruiter say, you join the military, you're gonna do this,
You're gonna
you're
see
gonna
the
do this, you're gonna
world.
see this, you get to travel, this and that, all kinds of money, school, and all this stuff. And then you be like,
okay.
no.
So, does anybody else have an example first? Yeah, okay.
Like some days you get up, I'm just not motivated, I don't wanna do anything. It's like that for me sometimes.
But the key word is sometimes or some days.
Yes.
That's not all the time.
No,
It says some people.
But yeah, it's not saying all people, it's just saying some people, because you do have those.
But with these people, with them saying some people, this would mean that they're not motivated ever.
At all.
Right.
Yeah.
So, while I do agree, and I totally feel the same way sometimes with your statement, I think what they're trying to say here is that there's some people that nothing moves them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I agree with this.
Procrastinating.
I think that maybe the case is that they just haven't found the thing that motivates them. Have you ever seen someone who was one way and then they had a child and now they're different? But had never been that way before. Maybe it's just that one thing or that certain thing that causes them to change or causes them to be motivated.
Or get an authority
I think
position.
everybody has something that will move them. Now, will they ever find out what that is? Who knows? But I think, and maybe I just have too much faith in people, but I think that within every person, there's something that will motivate them.
There's probably the person that's holding them back.
Yeah, it's possible. People haven't found that thing or that source that can encourage them or cheer them on or motivate them. Or maybe they choose not to find it. Maybe it's there, but they ignore it. So, just a myth according to the book. The next one is people are motivated by money.
Not everyone.
Not everybody. It's a
Not
myth.
everyone.
Some people are.
Some is true.
Everybody.
Everybody?
To some extent, like, you're motivated to make
They
some
work.
money to pay your bills.
Everybody doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Some people volunteer.
Yeah.
They gotta have some kind of income.
What about the people who, their parents, left them all of this money in their will? Are they still motivated by money?
Yeah, something
Once
like
it's
that. Until they
gone.
don't have it no more.
Paris Hilton,
Because they hold on to it.
is she motivated by money?
She was motivated by it.
Yeah, 'cause she got to
She
have
just
money to get her
motivated
through.
by her fame.
Or what
By
about
fame.
what about Bill Gates?
Yeah.
Is he
I don't think he's
by money?
motivated
No,
by
he's
money,
not
no.
money.
I think he's he's motivated by
What he
a
does.
dream of what is
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Money just happens to be the reward of him being successful.
I think
in
at
his
some
experiment.
point, he may have been motivated by money, but I think at this point,
No, it's just.
he has way too much money to still be motivated by money. He may be motivated by fulfillment or success or something else that may be connected to him making money, but I don't think the money is the thing that drives him to get up every day and
No.
do what he does. Just my opinion.
No, I don't think so.
It's
Him
not.
and his wife donate millions of dollars every single year to charities and shit.
I think when you experience different things in life, sometimes you find that things that you thought you were motivated by is not always the case.
Because see, money, I mean, that's something you know, everybody knows in order to get by, you're gonna need a job, so, I mean, you're gonna have to work at some point, so money is not a motivator anymore, because, I mean, that's just
It's a
the way of
requirement.
life. Yeah, basically, it's the way of life, so.
So it's a myth. There's nothing that says you guys have to agree with all of these or disagree. These are just myths. Motivation is manipulation. What do you guys think?
Sound like a critical thinking type.
Depending on who,
On who's motivated.
yeah, who's the,
So,
who's
so,
doing
all right,
motivation.
give me an example of when it might be
I
manipulation.
can tell you, I can tell you something to motivate you just to get the job done, but really I'm not. I'm just doing it just to get you to do something I don't want to do.
Is that wrong?
It's true.
Maybe, no.
But yeah, so you don't think it's
No.
wrong for me to motivate
Not
you to
your
do
point,
something?
I'm
I
thinking about something.
Well,
But-
what
All right, well,
I'm
give us your
motivating,
example.
like, I'm gonna take your rank, you don't do this. type
Yeah.
deal. That's manipulation, because there's always a process to the thing. But you got people manipulating the system by throwing their weight around where they don't have the justification and or the authority to do it.
So that's wrong.
Very wrong.
All right, so
But I was thinking about, like, say for instance, someone say, well, you do this, I'll do this for you. Or, you know, that's like manipulation. Well, that's bribing. That's what that is.
all right. Did you have a comment? No, never. I think motivation can be manipulation sometimes, not always. Going back to your example, if we think in the mindset of a manager, do you think that sometimes a manager might motivate an employee just to manipulate them, using your example?
If you
Yeah.
do this, if you do this right here, I'll give you that promotion or such and such or whatever like this, and then you do it, and then you still waiting. I've been doing all this and doing this and doing that, and I still haven't gotten that promotion. Oh, okay, well I still, you know, so he can just be telling you stuff just to motivate you to do it, and then you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this because I'm finna get promoted, and then
But what if that manager knows that's the only way that employee is gonna get the job?
then he don't need to have that employee work.
So they need to be fired.
Exactly. If he gotta do that just to get the employee, he doesn't need to be there.
All right. I'll take that. Anybody else? So we're not gonna manipulate people is what it sounds like when we become managers. Oh, now everybody's silent.
I probably use it to an extent.
I think at some point when you're managing people, you do. You will. To be completely honest, I think at some point, regardless of if you realize it or not.
Yep.
All right, the next one. One size fits all reward programs. What this means is that some companies, regardless of who you are or what you did, you'll get the same reward. So if, I don't know, if you did something really great last month and the patient wrote this awesome compliment about you, you'll receive a $10 gift card. Or if you saved a patient from rolling down the stairs, you'll get a $10 gift card. Do you think that this is something that exists? Is this a
Yes.
myth?
I think some companies or some companies may do that.
I think that kind of reward system keeps things, in some situations, fair for all employees.
Which is why I think some companies do it.
Yes. They're trying to keep everything equal and not, male versus female, black versus white, manager versus, owners, anything. I mean, if you do one size fits all, if whoever does it, regardless of the position, they get the reward.
Does it work though?
But see,
No.
then some people catch on to it,
There's
they're
an
like,
opportunity.
okay, what's the point in even doing it if I'm gonna get the same thing
Right.
they always give out every month?
Right.
Or whatever like this.
Then we're working with what? Disengaged
Yeah.
employees, right? Here's one. Motivational people are born, not made.
No.
No.
No, it's false. False? Don't believe it?
Oh, it
Well,
just
it would take
popped out.
time for someone like to be a motivational people. You may have to take a mile in someone else's shoe, like know how they feel.
So you're saying it takes time?
Some,
All right.
in some aspects,
Cause
time.
that goes back to some people who are just not motivated.
A little bit, yeah. It can. And the last one. There's only one kind of employee satisfaction. It's a myth. Agree, disagree?
Disagree.
You agree?
I mean, disagree.
Disagree. Your classmate next to you agrees.
What? No, you asked the question. and
Yeah,
that's-
you agree or disagree?
There's, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Not just one.
So we all
person.
disagree?
Yes, I disagree.
I disagree too. Great. We're all on one page. So anyway, again, these are just myths about motivation and satisfaction. Why are these important to know? Because as a manager, you're going to have employees that come in with these mindsets. Not all employees will come in with this, but some of them may. So it's important for you to know that some of them may think this way, so that you know what to refute, how to explain to them that everybody is motivated. We just have to find out what motivates you. So, how do we do that? What are some strategies? How do we motivate people? Number one, always expect the best. Kind of goes back to what you're saying. You have to be careful with who you're hiring. If you are hiring people that you can't expect the best from them, they may need to get off the train, right? They may not need to be there. Reward the desired behavior. I'm kind of on the fence with this. I think that if you're hired to do a job, you should be doing the best every day. You should be doing the desired behavior every day. However, if somebody goes above and beyond, I don't see anything wrong with rewarding them. The next one, create fun, focused, unpredictable, novel approach. What that means is when we go back to thinking about that one size fits all, that's not gonna fall under this fun category, right? So when we're motivating, we should try to motivate people in different ways. You know, maybe we encourage them to do things one way one month, maybe the next month we're gonna have a different incentive or a different strategy. The next one, reward employees to enhance performance and motivate. So when we think about how we reward people, we need to do so in a way that will push them to do even better the next month and not really, oh, well, I know if I do this again, I'll just get another movie gift card, so what's the point, right? So you want to strategize how you reward employees to make sure that they continue to improve and get better. Tailor rewards. We kind of just talked about this with the one size fits all. To the extent that you're able to, try to tailor the rewards to that specific employee. If you know that that employee has children, maybe movie gift cards is something that works for them. Or, you know, if it's an employee that doesn't have children but they enjoy golf, I don't know, maybe a golf gift card will work better for them. So try to tailor the rewards as much as you can. Focus on revitalizing employees. This means is you may have some employees that got hired, came in, was working very well, and then over time it's kind of plateaued, and in some cases even gone down in terms of their production and their work product. Those employees need motivation as well. So in those cases, you need to see how you can re-energize those employees and how you can get them engaged again. The next one, find and create ways to obtain information and reward excellence. Let's talk about this one, because Sometimes information is not always easy to obtain, right? So an example of this is I've worked in organizations where certain information wasn't readily available as a manager. So what that would require is to go to other departments to get that information so that you could reward people. So that may have meant me going to the quality department to see which area had the highest scores last month, or reviewing the patient satisfaction scores to see if one employee went above and beyond. Wherever it may be, sometimes you have to dig a little deeper to find information to motivate and reward people. Now this one, important. Get your employees to take responsibility for their own motivation. Sure, as managers, it's going to be our job to motivate people and push them, but are we doing them any justice if we're the ones always motivating them? We have to develop employees that also know how to take accountability for themselves and their own motivation. So again, when you're going back to hiring, when you're hiring people, you got to think about who you're bringing in. Is this employee someone that's self-driven, someone that can motivate themselves, push themselves? Or is this an employee that I'm going to have to spend a lot of time on that I already don't have time because I'm a manager and I have 50 different things to do, and I'm going to have to take more time to go sit down with this employee and counsel them and motivate them and push them, right? So we want to get our employees to take their own responsibility for their own motivation. And the last one, play to employees' strengths. We want to promote high performance and focus on how they learn. This is important too because, as you guys probably already know, everybody learns differently. Everyone has different strengths, and you'll find this when you're working in teams, in your groups. But once you figure out what that person's strength is, you want to play on that and motivate that person to excel in that area that they're strong in. And once they do, make sure you call them out and you reward them for it. So, let's take an example for this. So if you guys are working in teams and I find that you're like an expert in NC Live, and I say, wow, you're really good at finding those articles, you want to take that portion of the responsibility for the group, and and say, I really appreciate your skills and your strengths and your talents and finding those articles, and we really need you on board because that's what you're great at. So when you find strengths in people, you want to compliment them. Not just say, hey, you do that part because you're good at it. Compliment them, let them know that you acknowledge their strengths and play on that so that they can continue to be a high performer. So the last thing that I'm going to briefly talk about is generational. And I kind of started class talking about the differences in generations today, and that's what I'm going to end on. So what you have here are some of the different generations. So you have the traditionalists, which were born before 1945, the world famous baby boomers that were born between 46 and 64. You have Generation X, born between 65 and 78. And we have the millennials, born between 79 and about now. I think it's actually a little less than now, but for purposes of this, we'll stick with this. So as a manager, when you're leading people and motivating them, you have to realize that these different generations are going to have different needs and different wants and are going to need to be motivated differently, right? So, somebody give me an example of how we might motivate a traditionalist. How would you motivate a person like that? And you'll be managing people from all of these generations. Why? Because people are working longer now. They're not retiring as early. So it's important for you to understand each of these generations.
Help them count down to the retirement date, I don't know.
How are we going to motivate this traditionalist? What would we
Their
do?
Authority. There's
Authority.
Yeah.
Give them like a leadership.
Give them a
position.
leadership position.
So give them a leadership position.
Or
Okay.
like
I mean,
team
not
leader or
bad.
something like that,
Yeah.
where.
But what if we don't have any leadership position to give them?
It
They-
doesn't.
Not
it
an
could-
official
It could
one,
be
but
like
something like,
team leader or something.
All right, team leader.
Acknowledge their, because according to the book, they're very loyal employees, so acknowledge their loyalty.
Okay, we can now acknowledge their loyalty.
Longevity.
That's good.
If they've been there a while.
That's good.
Acknowledge the longevity.
So we want to acknowledge their loyalty. Maybe we can't give them a leadership position, but maybe we can delegate certain tasks to them so that they feel the authority, like you said. Okay, I'll go with that. Baby boomers. How are we gonna motivate this generation?
treat them equal.
Treat them equal to everybody else.
Well, like equal
No,
to
not to
like
the
their
young
That's
boss.
everybody.
Treat them equal to me.
No. I mean,
I see where you're going, but
like for their boss to treat someone equal like everyone else, but recognize also that they value their teamwork. They want to be a leader.
so make them feel valued. Make them feel important.
What about having them do training?
I'm sorry,
What
having
about
them
training?
training,
Yeah.
having them do training.
Yes.
Okay,
Put 'em certain,
we can do that.
kind of, so that they would feel like they're not being left out in certain job.
Okay.
areas.
Want to make sure they don't feel left out.
Yeah.
All right.
They, according to the book, they're driven by goals. So, I would say give them something to do, like something you,
So set goals for them.
right.
And remember, it doesn't have to be, some huge goal. As you said, if we know that baby boomers are driven by goals, we might say, I might come and say, you did great this week. What do you think about next week? You think you could do 10 more patients? Could be a very informal goal like that, but just something that keeps them motivated, especially since we know they're driven by goals. All right, Generation X.
Deadlines.
Sorry?
Deadlines.
Deadlines, okay?
Flexibility.
This is hard, right? So think about if you're leading
You want to
people.
give them opportunities to advance.
Opportunities to advance.
If
Why-
they feel
why-
like they're stuck, they're not gonna be motivated. It's
Why
like-
for this generation?
Because this
Everybody's
generation
gonna want to
started-
advance.
Because the internet was invented
don't
when they were like teenagers and stuff, so they started getting more technologically advanced as things were going on, and so they're motivated by all the opportunities and stuff coming on. And it's like now we can go to college online, whereas our parents couldn't.
Okay.
They had to if their correspondence was actually sending their homework out in mail.
Any other ones for this generation? How are we gonna motivate?
Yeah, they want to get a project or result done with some time to spare, so they can see if something needs to be fixed, they have time to fix it.
Okay. And what about millennials? How are they motivated?
Smartphones.
Smartphones. We can't. There's nothing we can do to. How can we motivate them with a smartphone?
Gift cards.
We're gonna have to take the smartphone away.
Employee of the
My
month.
8-year-old wants a
They'll do
tablet, he
everything on
wants an
gift
iPad,
cards.
he wants
Oh,
to
gift
stick a cell
cards.
phone.
I just said, what I just said? I just said something after that. Employee of the month or
So
special parking or
the
something.
take home here is that you realize that they're different. They're very different from generation to generation. And as I said, more than likely, you're going to be managing or working with people that are from different generations. So you have to understand what moves people, because what you do to move this traditionalist may not work with these other generations. I had the opportunity to be in the situation where I had to figure out how to motivate people from different generations, and it can be difficult. It's something that takes a lot of thought. You have to really sit down and think critically. Okay, I'm gonna do this for this person, but it's not gonna work on this person, so I have to figure out. And you want to obviously be able to motivate everybody. So it does take a certain skill set for a leader to be able to move and motivate.
Employee recognition could go for baby boomers, No
Yeah.
input employee every month.
Yeah, definitely.
Would be enough.
So, you know, all the answers that you guys gave were good, but the take home here is to realize that there's differences here, and you have to know what all of these are. And we're done. See you on Thursday.